My husband loves steamed fish, so that is why my first keto meal that I show you from my culture will be steamed fish and okra. It's a very simple dish. Tomato, peppers, onion, scallion, green peppers. Now we have our Scotch bonnet pepper. You want to be careful with cutting these because if it remains on your finger while you're eating your other foods, it will burn you. So, you know, be careful. And the power is in the seeds. I'm not going to use a whole pepper. I'm just going to use just enough. Again, to give it flavor. And you know what, I'm gonna just cut it in two so that I can find it to take it out if it is adding too much spice to my dish. I can always find it. So I'm all spread around like so, and you hear it popping, so you know it's good and hot. So let's add our onions first. So you want to break apart your onions, make sure they're all singled out. You're going to put the garlic in there, because that's where all your flavor is going to come from. Put all that garlic in there. Oops, got a little pepper in there. Okay, so we have our garlic and onion going. I have my fire set to, it's between the high and medium knob. And some of you may have electric stoves, so you know what setting is best for your stove to just fry, not burn. You know, you just want to soften your vegetables. You don't need it overcooked. So you know what setting is best for your stove. So you move it around. You don't have them sitting in one place too long. That's how you're going to get it to burn. So just keep moving it around. You're just going to get it softened. And like I said, I can never have too much onion. So you might want to use half an onion. I always use a whole because I love onions. It's going to be a part of the meal for me. So it may look like a lot of onions, but you can add a half instead of a whole. Now I'm going to add the peppers and the green onions, or what we call scallion. And you see all the beautiful colors coming together. And this is a lot of flavor. The layers of this flavor is what is going to give their fish that nice Caribbean flavor. And keep on watching your vegetables to make sure that they're not overcooking or that they're not burning. You don't want them burnt, you don't want them overcooked. You're just softening them because it's going to add a very nice texture to your fish to eat these vegetables with it. So just be careful of that and watch that. There's no special secrets in which you should add the vegetables. I usually add my garlic first to give the oil flavor, and then everything takes on the flavor of that garlic. But you can just throw it all in there if you want, all at one time. I am going to keep my pepper out till the end because I want to gauge how hot it's making the liquid as we build up the liquid into this. So you can see the onions getting soft, so now you know it's ready for us to go on to the next step. And now I can add my tomato. And if you're not a tomato lover, you don't want too much tomatoes in your dish, you can add half a tomato instead of one. But I'm making this for myself and my husband, and we like vegetables. We want the dish to be full of vegetables because this is the dish for us. The fish and the vegetables is the entire dish for us. And for the people who are watching this for keto, you can use coconut oil to add a level of fat. If you're going high fat, if you're in a keto diet, you can use coconut oil instead of the olive oil. So we're going to let that cook down a little bit and build up some juice from the tomatoes. As the tomatoes cook down, you're going to see the liquid rise a little bit. So let's let that cook some more. See the beautiful colors coming together. And I live in North Carolina, so it's hard for me to find whole thyme. So I'm going to be using thyme seasoning instead of the whole thyme. I know that's not the West Indian way, but that's what we have to make do in North Carolina. So we'll let that cook down a little bit. So before I add about a cup of water to this to make my sauce, I'm going to add some ketchup. Right now what we're doing is we're building up a sauce for the fish. We're making steamed fish and okra, and we're building up that sauce. What I'm also going to do is add some seasoning. Add some seasoned salt. I like to season my food in layers, so I season my veggies and I season whatever protein I'm cooking. So season your veggies how you would season your food regularly. So that's with onions. I really love this seasoned salt, the Creole seasoning. I don't know if it's focused there, if you can see it. Yeah, that's the seasoned salt that I like to use. It has a lot of flavor. So the veggies are cooking down. Remember, keep on turning your veggies so that they're not burning or overcooking. You know, you still want them to have some texture with the fish. So I'm going to let this simmer down some more. And after this, I'm going to add some water. You see all the layers of beautiful color there? It's coming together very nicely. So this is a good texture. The onions still have some texture. Your peppers still have some texture. The tomatoes, you can have that cooked down sauce. So I'm going to add some water to this. And your sauce is just about ready now for your fish to enter and to cook down. See the beautiful colors there in your sauce. So now I'm going to add our star of the show, which is the snapper. Because we have two more things to add. So there goes the snapper. Like I said, I had the snapper marinating in salt, garlic, onion, and paprika. And I mean, you can gauge yourself on how much seasoning you need based on the size of your fish. Make sure that, you know, the entire fish is covered with seasoning. And you can just let it sit for about an hour or so in that marinade. And I don't let seasoning go to waste, so I usually pour my marinade into my pot while it's cooking. And your fish is well on its way to completion. Now we're going to add our okra. I have frozen okra. You can buy the fresh okra and cook it down a little bit and then add it to your dish. I find frozen okra to be a lot easier to handle. And okra is not for everybody, but it's a great addition to your diet as a keto eater. It's full of fiber and it's low carb. So it's something you definitely should consider. Be aware though that okra has a very interesting texture. It's not for everybody. So it's worth a try. But just know that it has a sticky texture when it's cooked down. So we're going to leave this now and we're going to let this cook down for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to come and turn my fish over. I'm going to add my Scotch bonnet peppers to this in places where I can remember to remove them. But I think I'm just going to leave it in. My husband likes spicy food, so I'm going to leave them in there. But if I was going to cook this for the kids, I would definitely have to remove them, especially if the seeds were still in there. So I'll be back in 10 minutes. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes. As you can see here, the fish has been soaking in the juices on one side. So now we're going to flip it over so the other side can catch some of the juice and our fish can be flavorful. You see the okra has cooked down and that sticky texture is coming through. You can see as I move it. And if you want, if the okra is overwhelming for you, you can use less okra, and you can also cut your okra up. And you can get the bags of frozen okra that are cut. Oops, I am mishandling my fish. It's a bad turn. Take that for taste test. I'm going to flip this over now so the other side can get some of the flavor. That's a cleaner turn there. Yeah, so I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of vinegar to the sauce to up our flavor. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of vinegar. That's 1. And that just adds even more flavor. So we're going to let it sit now for about 7 more minutes. And then we'll plate it and enjoy. I am so looking forward to all of the flavor. Steamed fish and okra body on the way.